Assassin's Creed Unity, perhaps not one of the most successful games in the franchise. Though it was a pleasant enough walk through the streets of Paris, the game felt flat in some areas. For others, the crippling launch day bugs and melting faces showed the ugly side of the game, and it says a lot when the CEO makes an apology and offers a free game. Fortunately, the Unity merchandise at Ubiworkshop is much prettier. By now we're seeing the usual offerings, shirts, hoodies, and a few other accessories, some of which I've collected. This one, however, really stuck out. This is the Arno Coat. At $270 this is one of the more expensive items offered by Ubiworkshop, and is the deluxe item in the Unity lineup. What does the Arno Coat offer, and is it worth the cost? Because the coat is slightly more upmarket than most of the items I've reviewed, I'm going to dress up accordingly to show how this looks in a slightly more formal appearance, with a Napoleon-inspired tie with golden bees. Now, of course, you don't actually have to suit up just to wear this coat. You can wear anything, t-shirts, jumpers, sweaters, polos, and it'll be fine. Here I'm wearing the official Legionnaire shirt from the Unity series, from Ubiworkshop as well, and I'll review this in a different video. But yeah, just wearing the coat, same sort of thing, looks fine. I like, just the fact that it has a very formal collar, kind of makes it more suitable for a collared look, so a polo or shirt would be nice. But, this doesn't hurt, looks alright, it's comfortable enough. And it is quite a nice jacket no matter how you wear it. It's important to note that this is an actual coat. If you're used to seeing cheaper jackets and hoodies, this is something quite different. This is designed as cold weather outerwear. The fabric is very thick, being a blend of 80% wool and 20% polyester. If the price tag was enough of a hint, this isn't meant to be a casual jacket. The coat is a modern interpretation of the jacket worn by Arno Dorian in Assassin's Creed Unity. It is a double-breasted jacket with a primarily navy blue color with brown cuffs, collar and shoulders. As a large coat, this will feel quite padded and sits squarely over your frame, with a spacious, smoothly lined inside and tough woolen exterior. This makes it ideal for wearing extra layers underneath for warmth and fashion, as well as concealing hidden blades. I'm wearing a medium size, and as someone who is 5'4" or 164 centimeters, the coat reaches to mid-thigh for me. The design and branding stands out a bit more than some merchandise items. The stitching and color scheme is heavily inspired by Arno's robes, with noticeable raised shoulders and a seam along the middle of the back, reminiscent of where his hood would go. The shoulder epaulettes are also derived from the costume and gives the coat a militaristic look. The buttons are matched with the color scheme, and they all bear the Unity logo. These are plastic compared to the metallic buttons used on other jackets. There is one more decorative button on the lower left side, showing the Unity Collection emblem. This is used for all items in the Unity clothing line. Speaking of buttons, although the coat is meant to be worn buttoned up, it doesn't look too bad if worn with an open front. The brown lapel actually looks pretty nice, and is a bit of a throwback to older Assassin custom designs. Although there is an extra buttonhole, it does look a little weird when done all the way up. Aside from that, the jacket features the usual waist pockets, as well as the inner pocket on the left side. The top of the inside pocket has the signature of Unity's protagonist and namesake of the coat, Arno Victor Dorian. Interestingly, the full name is used, which is different to the preview image on the product page. Normally I'd have to weigh up the pros and cons of the merchandise that I buy, and while this jacket is definitely on the more expensive side, it is a fantastic jacket. I know a lot of people tend to be squeamish or stingy about spending money on things they might not like, especially gaming merchandise. In fact, a lot of the merchandise consists of things like t-shirts and hoodies. This is not the same level. It is more expensive, but you are definitely buying high quality, fashionable wear. It is more expensive, but it is well worth the money. What you are getting isn't a cheap knockoff jacket with Assassin's Creed printed on it. This is a high quality winter coat. It is very warm. You can wear this as your outer layer, as your only outer layer in winter, and it will feel very comfortable. It is a well-designed jacket. Material-wise, it is nice and comfortable. The lining is very smooth. It's something which, as anyone, not just a gamer, but anyone would love to wear this jacket. It is that comfortable. So in terms of practicality, this is a nice, warm winter coat. Now, given that it is a bit more upmarket, a bit more formal in appearance, this probably isn't something I'd buy for casual wear, as you can probably imagine. I like wearing it to work. It is proper enough and formal enough to look right in the workplace. And it is fancy enough to look appropriate when you go out on a dinner date or for a night in the theatre. I do really like the colour scheme of this coat. The dark blue works really nicely. The brown is subtle. You wouldn't normally match a dark blue and a dark brown, but this is a reference to the Arno costume in Unity. And in this case, it does work quite well. The collars look very nice and brown. The cuffs look nice and brown. So this is it's a slightly different design, but it is a nice design nonetheless. The layout of the jacket and the buttons isn't particularly unique. You can quite easily find double-breasted designs in most department stores or designer brand clothing. So it's not like you are buying something completely unique. It's just the way it's put together in terms of its color scheme and its Assassin's Creed merchandise background. That's what makes it slightly different. What I think makes this coat stand out are two things. The first are the shoulder epaulets. These you can find in a lot of regular clothing. This isn't something unique to Assassin's Creed. But the fact that it is a brown color and this is a historical color scheme does make this look kind of militaristic, which is what they're aiming for. I know Arno himself is not a military character, but considering this is a Napoleon era style clothing, it does give a bit of a throwback to the 1800s, which does kind of make sense. The second thing which makes it stand out will be the cuffs. Again, these cuffs aren't actually real cuffs. They're sewed in, so you can't flip them and button them. But the fact that they are brown and they're pretty prominently colored on your forearm makes this a nice contrast to the dark blue of the rest of the jacket. So those two things I think are what makes this appealing and eye-catching to people who are looking at you. It's the shoulders and the forearms, the cuffs. If there's one thing I don't really like about this coat, it's the buttons. I mean, all of them. I've already mentioned before that the buttons do have the Assassin's Creed Unity logo on each button, and I think that's, it's okay. It's not too excessive, not as subtle as some other designs, but it's there. People recognize it. That's fine. But I feel that for the price you're paying, and given that most of the cost does come in the materials and the manufacturing, I feel that for the level that this jacket is aimed at, the buttons do feel a little cheap, in my opinion. And I'm saying this because they're very thin plastic circles. They remind me of the counters you get in board games. The really cheap ones, like checkers, for example. That's what it feels like. Or chips for poker, and those are very high quality chips. So I find that these, I don't think these work that well as buttons. I mean, they're big, they're prominent, but I would have expected something a little shiny or something a little more fancy, just to go with the rest of the jacket. Now, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, you can see the buttons do reflect nicely. I just feel that considering the jacket itself it looks so good, I feel the buttons are a bit of a letdown. But aside from that, do I recommend this coat? The answer is most definitely yes. Now, the cost is the only thing that is prohibitive. It is one of the more expensive things in the Ubiworkshop marketplace. And fair enough. If you can't afford it, or just you don't want to spend that much money on merchandise, that's completely fair. But if you do have that money to spend, and you are interested in one, buying a nice Assassin's Creed jacket, and two, buying a nice coat in general, this is definitely a good coat. You get your money's worth. It is a very comfortable jacket, something I like wearing for many occasions to work and going out. And overall, this is really one of the best products in the Ubiworkshop line. And again, for the products that are made for more mature gamers, this doesn't scream out Assassin's Creed. Even though it's inspired by characters and designs in Assassin's Creed Unity, the only thing that really points us out as an Assassin's Creed jacket are the buttons. People will see the buttons and recognize, they go, Assassin's Creed, very nice. But for the most part, it's just a nice, fancy jacket. Anyway, hope you found this review helpful. This is NUSensei. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.